1 John 5, starting in verse 9.
Okay, so let's start with what she starts with. She says 1 John chapter 5, verse 9, and goes on to read that. But once again, she skips out the meaning of the whole chapter, because right before that, we are commanded, not suggested, we are commanded to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind. And it says, for this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. We obey him. So we are commanded to love him. And in that love, we are commanded to obey him. And if we do not do either, these are not suggestions, but if we do not do the either, then we are children of disobedience. And that was 1 John 5:3. Now let's go on to 17. All unrighteousness is sin. And there is a sin not unto death. So there is sin that doesn't lead us to hell. But in the verse before, it tells us there's sin that leads to death and there are sins that do not. But all unrighteousness is sin. Okay? And we see in the previous videos and the previous chapters that I've made that Abraham was justified by his works, not only faith. Okay? So that was in James 2 verse 24. Ye see then how by works a man is justified, and not by faith only, because a faith without works is dead. The Bible also tells us that if it's not of faith, it is sin. So if God tells you to go out and do something and you choose not to do it by faith, then you are in sin. Because James also tells us later on that, let's see if I can, chapter 4, verse 17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and does not do it, for him it is sin. So if you know what you're supposed to do and you do not do it, it is sin. Or if you go and do something, but you're not in faith, like you don't have faith in God, but you do go out and do something, then it is sin. Okay? So you guys, it goes, and it just says that sin is unrighteous, or like unrighteousness is sin. So you have to obey to gain this righteousness. You have to listen to the voice of God and obey and follow him and be led of the Holy Spirit.